how many times, as you read the accounts detailed throughout the scriptures, have you thought, what were they thinking? I mean, here, they come out of Egypt. We're not there yet. In another week or two, they're going to be exiting Egypt here, fairly quickly here after the first couple of portions in the book of Shemot and Exodus. And after all the signs and wonders, they're going to still act in such ways that make you wonder, did you forget who it was that did the signs and wonders? Did you forget who it was that just leveled Egypt and wiped it out? I mean, this is the most powerful nation in their area, probably in the world at the time. And yet you're whining, complaining, and doing all these other things. And we sit there going, what's wrong with these people? We're told to take every thought into captivity. What it doesn't mean is that you're going to put it behind bars somewhere, but it means that you take the thought under your control. That you would take the thought and you have control over that thought. You don't let it just run its course and do whatever it wants. And that you become sort of the mindless, just automaton that the thought just runs and does whatever it wants and you have no control over it. So bear in mind that as you're going through this life, it's not only your actions that are being looked at from above, but he knows your thoughts. Understand, this is a big piece that a lot of us miss. It's not just about obedience mechanically. He wants you to actually agree with him in what he's instructed you to do. He wants you to have a heart that wants to do it because you agree that it's the right thing to do. Not begrudgingly, not kicking and screaming or reluctantly or hesitantly, but you have a heart that's complete and whole in agreement with him. So you see how important the thoughts were there? This was a big moment. David was talking to Shlomo. I wanted to build this house. I'm not going to get to do it. You're going to get to do it. All the leadership is here, and all of this is predicated on what? You better guard your thoughts because Abba's watching and he knows your thoughts and the intention of your thoughts, the yetzer of your thoughts. And if you don't get that all right and don't do what's well-pleasing and in agreement with him, what's well-pleasing in his sight, this doesn't go forward the way we'd like it to. The promises are based on the agreement, the covenant. He talks, we listen, and we do it with all our heart, with all our might, with all our strength, in agreement with, in completeness. But I want you to get out of this is very important. I want you to get out of this that here is a prophet speaking to the children of Israel. And he's saying to them, all of this stuff is going to come upon you and has come upon you and all these terrible things that are happening. And it's all going to be because of your thoughts. But I want us to hear all of this clearly because when you're going through stuff, and over again, more stuff and other things and this, and you're like, why is all this stuff happening to me? It probably is connected to your thoughts. Somehow there's a thought problem. Like keepers of a field, they are against her all around because she has rebelled against me. I'm allowing this to come against you because of how you treated me. That's what he's saying. You rebelled against me. Remember, we go back to the previous, what we were doing in Chronicles. He wants us to have a heart that's in full and complete agreement with him. When it's not, basically you're in rebellion. So what happens is now you get all panicky because you're going to actually reap what you sowed. You didn't think you would because it didn't happen right away. You thought you were getting away with it. And then all of a sudden, it's blowing up in your face. And now you don't like it. But you got away with it for so long, it never even occurred to you that it ever was going to come to a point where you wouldn't get away with it. I'll tell you what, it's a rough thing when you turn 40-something and then into the 50s and you realize all my eating habits when I was younger, I used to get away with some of that. Don't get away with it so much anymore. It has more effect on the body because of what's called the cumulative effect, the accumulation. And so he's saying, but then what happens is we get to that point where now we're sorry. Now well, where were you sorry when you were doing it? What do you think it means to be wise to do evil? I think it has to do with that they have a good way of rationally lying to themselves and using some sort of twisted logic to justify doing evil. That somehow it's right to do wrong. That's what I think they mean by this. I think Yahweh's saying here, oh, they're clever. They've got all kinds of wisdom to justify their evil and make it sound like it's of me. Remember, these are the people called my people. They weren't just outright rejecting him necessarily and just doing whatever they wanted. They were claiming that they were doing things right when they were doing things wrong. And he says to you, look what I've done for you. What are you thinking? When you did this and this, what were you thinking? Were you thinking about all the things I've done for you? Were you thinking about what brings the blessing and the curse? Were you thinking about the relationship? Were you thinking about the covenant? What were you thinking? I can tell you as a parent, I've said to my children at least once or twice, and I've had said to me at least once or twice when I was a kid, when my mother or my father looked at me and said, after I did something, what were you thinking? Or in the middle of doing it, what are you thinking?